Welcome to Talks with Sheba, the place where real people give real answers on issues plaguing our community today. Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Sheba Holly. Thanks for joining us on this marvelous Monday. We aim to invite, excite, educate, and empower. So let's talk. Let's talk about comfort cases. What is comfort cases? Well, we usually think being a child is fun, smiles, giggles, and bubbles. But that's not always the case for all children. Some children live from pillar to post daily. This is a crude reality that we usually turn our faces to. But two people make a difference. Let's hear about Rob and Scheer.
Share a space with Rob Scheer.
So thank you for coming and volunteering.
And you're likely to notice his dedication for helping others.
Today we're going to try to make over 500 comfort cases.
Each of the volunteers who filled this school gym are the fuel behind Comfort Cases. Scheer started the nonprofit tired of seeing countless foster kids tote their whole world in only a garbage bag.
Here's Hello Kitty.
What size?
Perfect size. That's it.
That's how his daughter Amaya came to him from foster care.
She had 8 cavities. Why? Because nobody bothered to make sure that she had something as simple as a toothbrush.
Volunteers of all ages create care packages stuffed with essentials, each handed out to children who have to adjust to a new home.
If you're giving them a case and making sure that they have a brand new toothbrush, a bar of soap, lotion, a brand new pair of pajamas, something that they call their own to start their journey out, we will make a difference in these children's lives.
This sparkly folder.
There's a little extra in each comfort case. It's something priceless, something you can't see or touch.
Unconditional love. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
There's a reason why Scheer is so passionate. He lived the hardships of a foster child 37 years ago. He remembers the first time he felt the love that comes with finally having a home.
To say that we care. We care. And we're not allowing a child to be given a trash bag. That's what it's about.
Scheer kept the bags his 4 children carried into his home on day one. They remind him why he's working to add a little bit of love and comfort to children on a tough journey. One bag at a time. In Washington, I'm Polo Sandoval.
I would like to welcome Rob and Scheer, the CEO and founders of Comfort Cases. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, I'm just happy to have you here because what you're doing is phenomenal.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, that's a brainchild right there. Now, could you just give me an idea, give the audience an idea of what was the conception, what made it come into fruition for you all for Comfort Cases?
Well, for us, it started with a toy drive, a toy drive right at Ben's Chili Bowl. And we were doing our yearly toy drive, and afterwards everybody felt good, and then the next day everybody went back to their everyday life. And I thought to myself, this isn't the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
There are over 364,000 children in foster care. They don't have toy drives every day for them.
Right.
And when they're entering foster care, they're given a trash bag. See, my husband Reese and I, we remember 7 years ago, and as a matter of fact, it's 7 years ago this weekend that our first 2 children arrived in our home.
And when they arrived, they came with a trash bag.
Every last one of them?
Every single one of them.
Now, see, mind you, 39 years ago, I entered foster care. I carried a trash bag, just like them. And to look at my husband and say, in 39 years, we haven't gotten this right yet?
Wow.
That's just not acceptable. So we decided that it was time for us to do something about it. So I work for an amazing company, Coaster VMS, and Brian Coaster, the CEO, him and I sat down and said, what are we going to do? And so we started a 501c3 charity, a 100% volunteer charity, to make sure that every child that enters D.C., Maryland, and Virginia never are given a trash bag again. So they're given a comfort case.
Yes. And a comfort case is an amazing a duffel bag or possibly a suitcase or something that they can call their own. And we provide the elements of what they need for their first night that they're staying at a new place, even down to a blanket that a lot of our church does and makes the blankets for the kids, as well as stuffed animals and things like that to give them just the comforts that they need for the first night.
See, what I expect your audience to do is, you know, every one of them are going to go on vacation probably this year. But this year I want them to do something different.
Okay.
I want them to take a trash bag. I want them to put all their belongings in a trash bag and go on vacation. Why not?
No.
We,
I don't want to.
you don't want to. But why should any child in foster care? See, we have to understand that only 3% of kids that enter foster care are going to go to college. 3%. Do you realize that almost 80% of our prisons that are filled are people that were somehow affected with foster care? Just maybe, if we tried to do something a little different and not give them a trash bag, not take away the dignity of that little bit, maybe we could change those statistics.
Definitely. I mean, you were a foster child.
Yeah.
What memory do you have that sticks with you, that ties into the comfort cases?
See, I remember being 17 and being homeless. I remember as a foster child what it was like to not have, to be hungry, to not have clean clothes. I remember my trash bag. I remember joining the military, and went right up to Fort Meade, Maryland, to the MEP station. I was put up at a Red Roof Inn before I was being shipped out, and I had a trash bag, still, by the way. At this time, I'm 18 years old, and I remember being in that hotel room, taking the longest shower that I had ever taken because I was dirty. I hadn't even had a bar of soap of my own. And I remember taking that trash bag, and I remember throwing it away. And I remember saying, you know what? That trash bag was not going to define the man I am. That's what I hope people understand. But I remember how hard it was. But I also remember we have choices to make. See, I tell our kids all the time, and we are blessed to have 4 amazing kids, but I tell them that it's our responsibility to make the choices in life. We can choose to go down the path that so many of us expect us to go down because we were foster children. See, they expect us to go into drug rehab.
Right.
They expect us to be that troubled child. They expect us to be the ones to fill their prisons. But guess what? We have a choice. And that choice for our family is to lead by example. And to lead by example to let them know that, guess what? We're going to break the statistics that you tell us to do. We're going to break the stereotype that you have us. And we're going to make sure that you understand that a trash bag is not going to define who we are.
You know, oh my gosh. As you were speaking, I remember a story you had told in another interview about going into a home and they told you to take a shower.
The bar soap story.
Oh my gosh.
So the bar soap story for any, I think kids that, mind you, I was 10 years old. And it's like yesterday at times. See, I remember going into my first home and it was time to take a shower. Mind you, I didn't even barely know these people. And I was put in a bathroom to take a shower and use a bar of soap that every single person used. Now, mind you, some people say, what's wrong with that?
It's
okay,
disgusting.
here, audience, is another thing for you to do for me. You go on that vacation, don't take a trash bag. Call the hotel up and say, by the way, when the maid cleans the room for the people before me, leave that bar of soap in the shower. We're going to use it. Why not? You say gross, but we expect foster kids to do that every single day. We expect them to go into a home of people they don't know, go into a bathroom, and pick up a bar of soap and put it on their bodies. Can you imagine?
No, I don't want to.
Guess
Gross.
what? We don't want them to know either. So that's why my husband and I, we make sure with our team of volunteers to make sure that there is a brand new bar soap in every single one of the cases. Mind you, over 16,000 cases last year we gave out.
What?
Over 16,000 cases.
That's amazing.
And we have
That
to
is
give that.
absolutely amazing. I am so proud of you. My heart is filled.
Thank you.
I mean,
We also
Who
have to say a
does
lot
that?
of thanks to all the volunteers that
Yes.
support and come out and help us pack these bags and get things organized. It's unbelievable. And they do it on their own time. They do not get paid. They do not receive any financial help or anything to do this. They do this out of their goodness of their own hearts.
See, they do it because that's what community is supposed to do. See, people forget community was built so long ago. And most people think that community was built to make sure that your HOAs were all paid, that your house colors were all matching. But that's not what it's about. Community was built for you and I to take care of each other. See, what's supposed to happen? If I have a piece of bread and you need it, I'm supposed to give it to you because that's what communities is about. Not whether or not we live in the house next door to each other, but as a community as a whole. That's what it's about.
that's what it's about. And as you said, how do you get your volunteers?
How do we get our, oh my gosh, all over.
Everywhere.
We
Every way.
get them every way we possibly can.
Okay.
So through high schools and elementary schools
yes.
and middle schools and neighbors and churches.
We had
If-
just yesterday was a bat mitzvah that came in.
You're
and It was
kidding.
part of their project for their bat mitzvah.
There you
Which was
go.
amazing. That a lot of these young kids, our kids have done a community project at their school where everybody in the school participates and brings in things for the comfort
Yeah.
cases.
Our son's third grade class, he put together an entire, packing party for his third grade class. They did over 48 cases.
Wow.
We've had high school, preschools, church, you name it.
Ooh.
Talk about it. I want you to understand that it's not all about just the cases, but it's about what we're doing right now. Talking.
About it.
When's the
That's
last time you talked to somebody about foster care?
Oh, gosh. Probably you.
Yeah, that was a year ago. We should be talking about it all the time. It is a system that is broke. It is a system that we don't ever think about. It is a system that needs our attention. Mind you, these are our kids. This is our future. You wonder why our juvenile detention centers are full of these children? Maybe if we stopped and started talking about it, maybe we could change it.
That's a lot of maybes, but I think you're doing a lot of changing.
Thank you.
You're doing
you.
a lot of changing.
Thank you.
Still to come, mom boycotting madness after these messages.
11-year-old defends her gay dads after American Girl magazine story backlash. Amaya Scheer couldn't believe she was being featured in American Girl magazine for her charity work with foster care children. The 11-year-old, who was also a foster child, posed with her 3 brothers and adoptive dads, Rob and Reese Scheer. The family photo was all smiles, but not everyone was happy with the feature. Conservative Christian group 1 Million Moms boycotted the feature, asking American Girl magazine to stop pushing the homosexual agendas. Amaya was shocked by the backlash, but that didn't stop her from defending her 2 dads, who took her and younger brother Makai in when she was only 4 years old.
I would say this is none of your business.
American Girl is standing by the story, saying they were proud to share it. And Amaya's dad, Rob Scheer, also responded to the criticism, saying that 1 Million Moms were overlooking the real issue.
You know what? Go to your local foster care agency. Those kids really could use your help and not worry about the Scheer family.
Rob and husband Reese founded the nonprofit Comfort Cases in 2013, which distributes care packs to children of the foster care system. Each comfort case contains a pair of pajamas, a blanket, a toothbrush, hairbrush, and a stuffed animal or book. The nonprofit has distributed more than 10,000 comfort cases. They aim to end the stigmatization of foster care children as troubled children by making them feel welcomed and valued. Rob was inspired to start Comfort Cases by not only Amaya and his 3 adoptive sons, but by his own experience too. Rob entered the foster care system after losing his parents at age 10. When Rob and Reese welcomed Amaya and Makai 7 years ago, they saw they were carrying trash bags for their belongings. Rob remembered the trash bags too well. He too carried one when he was a foster child, like most of the 250,000 children who enter the foster care system in the US every year. Now Rob and his family are making sure no foster child has to carry a trash bag. You can donate your own Comfort Case to a child in the foster care system by visiting comfortcases.org. Share if you're standing with Amaya.
The Million Mom Boycott. You want to hear about some madness? We're going to hear about Amaya. Amaya's behind me. Hi, Amaya.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Now, Amaya, your dads do a lot of things. Your whole family does a lot of things with Comfort Cases, and you were recognized. Rob, could you tell about?
Sure. So last year, beginning of the year, I was at DC Child and Family Services. I was giving a speech and was blessed to receive an award from Barbara Harrison, who is the head of Wednesday's Child. And after giving this talk, a lady walked up to me and she introduced herself. And Kitson said that she was a writer, and she was a writer for Mattel, for American Girl. And she felt that there was a story there about our daughter, and would it be possible that we could sit and talk? And so she did that. She came out to our farm, and she met with our daughter Amaya, and they went out behind a tree with some new baby goats that were just born. And they spent several hours, and Kitson came back and said, I believe there's a story here. She's like, but can't promise anything. Thousands of girls submit stories to American Girl. She says, but I'd like to submit this story about Amaya. And she submitted the story, and that was about March. And in July, we got a phone call saying, congratulations, Amaya had been chosen as the American Girl.
Ooh,
and
high five.
That I was so proud. And and mind you, never once did they ever ask us, did Amaya have American Girl? Never once did they ever ask, did she have a magazine? By the way, never once did they ever bring up the fact that she had 2 dads either. So in October, we got a FedEx package, and it said American Girl on it. And my husband called me at work and said, the American Girl magazine's here, but we're going to wait till you get home from work, and we're going to open it together.
Yes.
And we opened up the packet, and there was the magazine. And mind you, I remember looking at my daughter, and she started crying. And I said, why are you crying? She said, because I think this story is going to make people talk about foster care.
Aww.
That's the kind of girl she is. So we all read the article together, and we cried together, and we smiled and laughed together. And then we started talking about it to our friends. Go get the magazine. About 2 weeks after the magazine came out, I received a phone call from a friend who said, have you seen this article I'm getting ready to send you? And they sent the article. And it was such a hateful, hateful story. And, I can deal with the hate. My children have tough skin. They can deal with the hate. But what we couldn't deal with is this came from moms. I know I shouldn't separate who it came from. Hate is hate. But this was supposedly 1 million moms who looked at a picture, mind you. Looked at a picture and said, what you see right here isn't right. That these kids' faces with their 2 dads, doesn't matter the smiles that they have or the love that they have for us and the love we have for them. It's not right. It's wrong, and it's a sin.
That's insane. Look at Amaya. Beautiful smile.
That's my girl. That's the picture. That's the picture that got us talking. People all over the world, mind you. Amaya had a reporter from Japan show up at our house and interviewed Amaya.
Wow.
We just received the newspaper that in Japan, our picture, Amaya's family, all of us on it, discussing how a million moms could hate a family that looked like us. I look at us and I see we don't look any different than any other family. We've got 3 crazy boys, 1 beautiful daughter, and they've got 2 parents that love them unconditionally. See, people stop my husband and I all the time and say, wow, those are some lucky kids. They're not the ones that are lucky.
We're lucky.
We're lucky.
We're the ones that are lucky.
You're blessed.
Very much so.
Very much so. I mean, Amaya, it was all about you. How did you feel? Your clip said you wanted people to mind their business. That was strong. That was bold.
Amaya, what did you want to tell them?
I wanted to tell them, it's just like how you're judging a book. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Wow. So when you heard about the controversy, all the issues, what were you thinking? How did you feel?
When I heard that people were boycotting my family, I was like, you can't just boycott us because I have 2 dads and they're white too.
You said they're white.
You're kidding me. Well, you never told us that.
From the mouths of babes. Wow. So you looked at it from different dimensions. Not only were they 2 dads, but they were also 2 white dads with black children.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You know, we get it. I remember Tristan, who's our youngest, said, I really don't understand why they keep calling us black and white. We get it, but we're not crayons. We're just the Scheer family. I said, you know what, buddy? You're exactly right. We're just the Scheer family.
124 colors.
Yep.
Everyone wanted that with the sharpener. Wow. Yeah, so, there's a lot of controversy. There's, I've pulled research that talks about, it was an op-ed piece, and it said there's a difference between same-sex families and heterosexual families.
Tell me what.
Yeah. And I was...
And mind you, let's ask my husband, who is the stay-at-home dad. You think you do anything differently than the other moms that you're running carpool and stuff with?
Let me think. Is there anything that to be honest with you, I think it has the only difference is what bathroom I have to go in.
Thank you. Exactly. There's no difference.
At Target.
At Target, right?
We have the same amount of laundry. And by the way, we sit down every night at dinner. And guys, what do we do every night we sit down at dinner?
We pray and say what we're thankful for.
And we say what we're thankful for. And we're blessed that we have our Heavenly Father. And we go, where do we go on Sundays, guys? Church, just like so many other families. By the way, do we do chores?
No. Yes.
No.
Just like every other family. So far. And what do we do if you get a boo-boo?
We kiss it.
We kiss it.
But
does Daddy and Dada give you just as much love?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're no different than any other family. No different. The difference is people want to say we're different. Mm-hmm. But again, come and break bread at our table. We invite you to come to our home and spend a day. And you can see we're no different. See, I think that this article was amazing, and I love 100 million moms. If there's 100 million of them, or 1 million, I love them. I want to stand up and hug in each and every one of them. And what I want them to do is come and break bread at our table and realize that once you get to know us, we're just like everyone else. And we've had more people who have walked up to us and have said, I've never known a gay person before. I've never even realized they were gay families until we met you all. And guess what?
Wow.
You guys really rock. You guys rock. And so we're like, wow, you know what? We actually kind of do rock.
Wow, that is just amazing. Yeah, just like I said, there's the op-ed that talked about, yes, it's different, and that there's problems, that the children grow up with problems. And then there was the research, this 2015, that says, no, they're coming from loving homes. They know they're wanted.
You know, we made a choice to be parents. We made a choice to bring 4 amazing children into our family and raise them as our own. We made a choice. These kids didn't. These kids didn't choose to go into foster care. These kids didn't choose for their biological family to make the choices they made that ended them up in our house. They did not choose that. And by the way, our children are not raised with rose-colored glasses on.
Right.
They get it. My daughter just said it. She has 2 white dads. Do you think they wake up in the morning and don't realize there's not a mom in the house? But guess what? It doesn't matter to them. They wake up in the morning and know that their dada, who is a stay-at-home dad and has sacrificed his career and his college, everything, he said, you know what? He just graduated with his master's and said, you know what? I got a more important job to do. I said, what's that? He said, stay at home and make sure that when these kids get off the school bus, whether I'm a mom or a dad, I am here. I am here to help them, to guide them, and to love them. That's sacrifice. And that doesn't matter whether you're a male or a female. That matters if you love. See, at the end of the day, it's about love.
There you go. It's about love. Now, how long? Because you all have a celebration coming up, and you call it what?
Gotcha weekend.
Gotcha weekend.
Got You Weekend. And what is Got You Weekend about?
What is it about, guys?
It's the day where we celebrate when Daddy and Dada adopted us.
The day that we got them. So we lived right here in D.C. And 7 years ago, President Obama was being sworn in for the very first time. Mind you, how awesome was this city at that time? We were getting ready to get our first black president. We had waited forever for that. We were getting ready to have our first kids in our home. We were scared about that. But it happened. And that was 7 years ago that Amaya and Makai came. And then within a matter of months, Tristan and our amazing son Grayson arrived. So we do a celebration every year, and we call it our Gotcha Weekend. And this weekend, my kids and my husband and I and some amazing friends and their families, we're all going away, and we go away and celebrate the amazing gift. The amazing gift that we were given. And it's our Gotcha Weekend, so we're pretty excited about it. You know?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. When you all were talking about the Got You Weekend, I was like, oh my goodness, did I miss another holiday? Did I miss another one?
It's our holiday. And, not everybody agrees with it, but again, our kids get it. They get it. They get the fact that, you know what? They had a life before they entered our life.
Yeah.
And we talk about it. And it's okay to talk about it. And it's okay. See, when I was a kid growing up in foster care, there was a little bit of a shame. I was shameful that I didn't have parents that were biologically mine. I had shame that I was a foster child and knew what the statistics were. I had shame that nobody ever talked about it. See, Reese and I decided our children aren't going to be raised that way. They're going to be raised to be proud of who they are, to be proud of the fact that they should talk about where they came from. See, that's what made us, is from where we came.
Right.
So why shouldn't we talk about it? Why shouldn't our children understand the fact that, again, my daughter said it, she has 2 white dads. When people walk up to us and say, oh, are they adopted? Nah, I had them last week.
Yeah. Yeah, I have 2 children that look so much alike. Everyone would always ask me, were they twins, and they're 4 years apart? And I would say, yes, they are 4 years apart. Yeah. Look at me like...
It's the questions people ask. Sometimes it's rather shocking for us, sometimes, the questions people ask us. But, hey, keep asking, because guess what? If you're asking about it, you're talking about it. And if you're talking about it, just maybe, again, maybe, we can make a change. Change is going to happen.
Well, my question to the children are, what do your friends ask you? Do they ever ask you questions? Yeah.
Are you on TV?
They ask you, are you on TV? About your parents? Okay, yeah. And you are. Do they ask you any questions?
I have a certain friend. We're alike because we're both adopted, and we always talk about our families together.
And what do you talk about?
Like, we talk about the days of when we were adopted and, like, memories long ago when we were younger.
Oh, that's funny. She's 11.
She's 11.
Memories long ago.
Tristan, what does your friends talk about? Do they ever talk about you being adopted?
No, they talk about I'm famous.
You're famous.
Oh, you are famous, honey.
So I have to tell you a quick story about Tristan that we, what do your friends say, Grayson? Do your friends ever talk about it?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? Well, Tristan, who is in 1st grade, his teacher called me and said, do you have a second to talk? And I said, sure. And she says, the other day we were all sitting in circle time, and Tristan says to his class, they were talking about adoption. And Tristan said, well, I have a mom. And all the kids were like, what? No, you don't. You have 2 dads. And Tristan said, yeah, my 2 dads adopted me because they loved me, but I had a mom. That's what you're allowed to say, and it's okay. He gets it. He does have a mom, you know. But at the same time, at this particular point, and it's not going to be forever, we just didn't make right choices, as I tell him, when his parents were adults. But we all can change. And again, our table is always open. We have an open table. Whoever wants to come and break bread with us, as our minister says on Sundays, our table's always open. The only thing we ask, respect us like we will always respect you, and understand that our love is no different than your love.
Oh, that's beautiful. So let's talk about this article. Amaya, American Girl. So when you were interviewed, I'm going to turn your mic back on. When you were interviewed, hold that. What did they ask you to get all this information? Everyone go find this magazine. Go find it. Good.
Miss Kinson, she asked, do you remember the day you got adopted? And I said, yes. And she said, tell me a few details. And I said, well, first, before it began, me and my brothers were playing with the mics. Mm-hmm. And then my dad shook his head, was like, no, 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 and then made a funny face. And then after it was all over, we walked up to the judge, and I was the first one to shake his hand and say thank you.
The judge? I'm not understanding.
On our adoption, when Amaya was first adopted,
when we went to the
Amaya was in foster care in the beginning. And when Amaya and Makai arrived in our home, they had arrived in our home for a temporary time. Okay. See, every child deserves to have the ability or the support to be reunited with their parents.
Right.
That's the way it should be, you know. But you have to, again, understand that people have choices. And to be a parent does not mean that you just get to give birth.
Right.
You have responsibilities. You have responsibilities to the children. You need to maybe take anger management courses if that's what the judge says, or parenting classes if that's what the judge orders, or drug rehab.
Right.
You know, if that's what's required, then guess what? You roll your sleeves up and you do it.
Right.
Well, these parents chose not to do those things. And when we realized that that wasn't happening, it's not fair for these children to be in limbo. So what we did is we made sure that we filed for adoption.
Okay.
And we went to adopt them. And so Amaya's talking about when the judge awarded us the adoption.
Got it.
The judge asked to come up, and Amaya, without any prompting whatsoever, looked at the judge and said, "Thank you."
Wow.
Because at that point, she was getting her forever home.
Yeah.
See, that's what the article is called, a forever family.
Wow.
And Maya was getting her forever home with her forever family. See, we'll
Nice.
always be her family. I
Yeah.
tell our kids all the time, and my husband echoes it, we love you unconditionally. We are your parents. We might not have been blessed to give birth to you, but I will tell you that there is not a part of my soul that could not love these kids any more than I love them today. They are my blood. They are my life. They are my children.
They definitely are your children. And you know what drew me to this story? At one time I was married, and I'm no longer married. My husband was adopted, and his parents, they chose not to have children and in New Jersey, and they foster cared about 49 foster children, and they adopted 5. And, you know, the conversation, they would talk about it, but it wasn't as prevalent in the home and at the table and really enriching the children's lives about their history before they got to their forever home. And they longed for that parent. They wanted to know who they were. A lot of their cases were sealed, actually.
See, we our children we adopted in D.C. and we have sealed cases, but we have said to these children that you know what, you have every right to know who your parents are. And again, once they've made the right choices, we need to make sure that our children are safe.
Yes.
And once you make the right choices, come to our table. Our kids need to know you. Again, Reese and I will never ever think that our kids love us any differently because their parents are in the picture.
Right.
They love us. They know who provides for them. They know who wakes up in the middle of the night when they have a nightmare, or they don't feel good, or their tummy hurts. They know who's there. That's never going to change. So we're not threatened whatsoever. So even though our cases are sealed, for us, the cases are open. You know, we've never changed our phone number. We never will, because we want them to reach out, be a part. Look how amazing these 4 kids are.
Yeah. And maybe they'll even say thank you.
You know.
Well, I'm
maybe-
saying thank you.
Thank you.
I'm saying thank you.
Thank you.
After these messages, more on comfort cases and from the kids.
Are you or someone you know suffering from stress, anxiety, or depression? Have you experienced feelings of frustration due to lack of family and/or career support? Let's talk. Relationship issues got you down? Get the help you need. Contact Dr. Sheba Holly, mental health advisor and life coach, at clarity.fm/Dr. Sheba Holly. That's DrShebaHolly. If confidentiality, comfort, and convenience is important to you, guidance is provided on your terms. You deserve peace of mind. Contact Dr. Sheba Holly, mental health advisor and life coach, at clarity.fm/Dr. Sheba Holly. That's DrShebaHolly. Get answers now. Make your appointment today. Let's talk. Clarity.fm/Dr. Sheba Holly. That's DrShebaHolly. HOLLY.
And we're back. You're here with Talks with Sheba, and we have the Scheer family here, and it's a big family, y'all. A fun family. They are celebrities as far as I told them when they came in the door, they were superstars as soon as they hit this earth. So I'm happy to have them here with us talking about comfort cases, foster care, and controversy that they have overcome and they will continue to overcome. So I just want to hear more about your experiences with your dads, guys, you know, and the fun things you do and what you want to do when you become an adult.
I'll start.
Okay.
So what are you going to do when you're an adult?
Go in the army.
Go in the army.
Okay,
Awesome.
like your
Glad to hear
dad.
that.
Be a police officer after I'm out the army.
Wow.
Okay.
You gonna have any kids?
6.
6. Woo!
Wow.
He's like, it's just 2 more than us.
Okay. That's awesome. What about you, Amaya? What are you gonna do when you grow up?
Travel the world.
Travel the world.
And then I want to live in either I want to live in Egypt or Africa.
And what are you going to do?
I'm going to discover new things.
Oh, archaeology.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's
nice.
awesome. Makai, what are you gonna do when you grow up?
Be a police.
Be a police.
Police officer, huh?
You gonna have any kids?
No.
No. He
No,
said
Makai
no.
tells Dada and I all the time that he's gonna live with us forever.
You're
And so we always say, that's fine. Just make sure he gets big enough house that we can live with him.
Right. Right. Exactly. And what about you? Tristan.
Tristan, what are you gonna do when you grow up?
Be a fireman.
Fireman.
Nice.
Who else was a fireman?
Papa.
Your papa was a fireman. Are you gonna have any kids?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? You gonna have any kids? No. You don't think?
3.
Three kids. Okay, awesome.
Why did you pick 3, Tristan?
Because it's too hard to have 4.
Out of the
They
mouth of
are
babes,
brilliant.
that it's hard to have 4.
He's like, 2 more. What's 2 more? And he's like, no, we're going to have to take 1 away.
And see, we also we not only have 4 kids, but we have 4 goats and 22. Oh, and he's going to be in the military. And
Okay.
21 chickens and 7 ducks and see
2 dogs.
2
dogs
dogs.
and-
Wow.
I'm getting myself
what's up in your
2
room?
birds.
2 birds. Yeah, whose
Wow.
birds? Dude, Makai has 2 pet birds. Parakeets.
Parakeets. Wow.
So we're
So-
a menagerie.
Yes. So you all are on a farm.
Yes.
We are.
Tell us about that. What made you want to move to a farm?
So, Makai, do
Look,
you want to say why we
They're
moved
raising their
there?
hands like they're in class.
Makai, do you want to say why we're on a farm? Why are we on a farm, buddy?
So we can have baby goats and baby chicks and
Right.
baby ducks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Amaya,
wow.
do you want to say why we're on a farm?
We're
Why?
on a farm because it's fun having 2 dogs, but we also want to have more animals too.
Yeah, but let's talk about the
What was the purpose that we chose to be on a farm?
So Grayson would like to say why. Why?
It helps autism kids.
It helps kids. So we've been blessed to have. Do you have why? Why are we on a farm?
Because we care about goats.
We care about goats. See, we have a child who was born with alcohol fetal syndrome because of choices again. And we were told that he was never going to talk. And we were told that basically there was nothing we could do. And my husband did research and found out that children that have sensory disorder and ADHD and alcohol fetal syndrome, that if they're raised with animals, it really changes their lives. Wow. So not only did my husband make sure that we went out and bought a farm, but
he said he made sure
that we had goats that the kids brought home on bottles and have raised, and we just had twins born on the farm.
Oh my gosh, it's a real
we
farm.
had 20 some chickens that were brought home that were a week old that our children have raised, and the boys now have an egg business.
No.
Our ducks were an hour old when they arrived in our home, and so we've done that because it's our responsibility as parents to make a difference in our child's life. And by the way, our child talks and walks, and he's in gymnastics, and he's running. And Makai is the most amazing gift that God ever gave us. So that's why we have a farm. And he's our chicken whisperer.
Oh.
And he's always walking around with a chicken under his arm because he loves his chickens.
Even when we're doing the chores.
Even when we're doing the chores, Makai has a chicken under his arm.
Wow.
So that's why we have our farm. Okay. And again, we talk about it because it's the cards that Makai was dealt. And we're going to make the most of them. And Makai's made the most of them.
Now, for each of them, how old were they when they came into the home with you all?
Well, Amaya was our oldest at 4.
Okay.
And then Makai had just turned 2. And Grayson was around 18 months.
So almost 2 years old. Yep.
Wow.
And then Tristan was 6 to 7 months when he came.
Babies.
So I remember 3 of the boys were in diapers, and Reese would just lay all 3 boys down and change their diapers all at one time and just get it over with, because he knew within that 15 minutes somebody was going to need a diaper change.
Right. Wow. So a toddler and 3 little babies. So it was almost like you had triplets.
Triplets.
It was a very busy household.
Whoa.
Yep.
Very busy. And understand, when Makai came, we were told that he would never talk and probably would never walk without braces on his legs. He had such severe tibia trauma, which tibia trauma is when, again, we make bad choices and don't take care of ourselves, and your womb doesn't grow. So when Makai was born, his legs were scrunched up and he had no muscle mass. And I remember my husband would leave work and go to the daycare, and he would stretch his legs out, and he would work his legs at night, and he would say, you know what? We don't believe in never in our house. Right. And we're never going to not say he's never going to talk. And we're never not going to say that he's never not going to walk without braces. Yeah. And again, you heard Makai on the mic. He talks great. And there's some days I cover my ears and say, oh my gosh, is he ever going to stop talking? and he is the most amazing gymnast. He can do backflips and forward flips and stand on his head and do the most perfect cartwheel.
He's like, my dad's exaggerating.
No.
I can't do a backflip.
Is it a backflip? Who does the backflip? Grayson does the backflip.
Okay.
And Tristan does the backflip.
I'm learning
I
how to
tried,
do a
but I
backflip.
landed on my head.
Oh no.
And it gave me a huge head.
That's okay. I couldn't get on the trampoline.
I can't do anything. I can't even stretch backwards. So
I'm trying to do
I can't stretch backwards.
I'm trying to do a backflip.
that's amazing. I am so proud of you guys. So what's up next for comfort cases?
What's up next? So what we're hoping is that we go nationwide. I would like to see a comfort case chapter in every single city. I would like to see all 364,000 children no longer be given a trash bag. But let me tell you what I would love to see.
What?
Is I would love to see the next first gentleman who's coming into office. I'm only just saying, if it's a gentleman that's our next, that he or she takes up foster care. See, the first lady, again, if it's a first gentleman, if they would just take up foster care, maybe we would outlaw trash bags in foster care. Maybe we would require that kids that come into the system get a bar of soap.
Soap. You never thought it was that important until now.
So, and don't forget, you have homework. You need to make sure you go on vacation and take the trash bag.
Taking the trash bag. I mean, so you're doing your packing parties how many times a year?
Oh my gosh. Well, we originally said one time a year, but now we have them all the time. So visit comfortcases.org, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. I never thought I would say we have all those things, but thanks to the amazing volunteers we have, people who man those for us, and just figure out how you can give back. There's all kinds of ways. I had a woman the other day email me and said, I have no money. She says, but you know what? I can give my time. And I said, I need your time.
Right.
I need you to come to the Comfort Case headquarters in Rockville, Maryland, and help me sort cases. I need you to put cases in your car and drive them to Child and Family Services. You know what? We're not going to allow anyone in social services to say, I don't have time to come and get cases. I don't have room to store those cases. We're going to make sure we bring those cases to you. We will store them in our office until you need them. Call me up at 10 a.m. Say, I've got 3 kids coming into care. I've got a 10-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 9-year-old. They're all 2 girls and a boy. Guess what? Within 45 minutes, because in about 45 minutes I can get to someone's office, I'm going to bring you a case.
Ooh, that's what I call service.
You got to make sure we make a difference.
Hey, Makai.
There's 2 girls and 3 boys.
Yes. Yes.
Africa and Maya.
Yes, so we have a girl. We have a girl.
We have a 5th child.
We have a 5th child, as Makai wants to remind everyone. We have a little girl in South Africa and Kenya that we have been supporting for the last going on 2 years now. Jessica is in an orphanage in Kenya, and we as a family made the decision to, since we're not having a 5th child here, that we will support Jessica in Kenya. So we pay for Jessica's schooling.
Okay.
And so that's what Makai wants to not forget, is that we need to remember to talk about Jessica, because Jessica in our family is so important. Her picture's in our home, and my kids write letters to her, and she writes letters to us. And again, it's community. See, Jessica doesn't live next door.
Right.
She lives in Kenya. She lives in a country that we could spend an hour talking about. But guess what? She's in my community.
Right.
And my community reaches as far as I want it to be. And it's my responsibility and my husband's responsibility and our children is to lead by example. And we are going to take care of Jessica.
Not only is she in your community, she's in all of your hearts.
Yes.
Right.
I want to thank the Scheer family for coming out and sharing their time on Talks with Sheba, getting that message out. Do you guys have a message you want to send out to everyone?
Oh, I'm the talker of the family. Sorry, hon. We want everybody to, what do you want
Lead
to
by example.
lead by example.
That's what I'm talking about. Lead by example. And I just want to thank, definitely be happy.
Be happy.
And
Be
keep
happy.
smiles on your face.
I love to smile. You know, I just want to thank you guys again for coming out, spending your Monday night, a school night with us. Okay? Yes, it was a school night. Because this is what we do here. We educate the masses. We want you to know, because if you didn't know, now you know. Make a difference. And remember, work like you don't need the money, love like you've never been hurt, and dance like nobody's looking. We'll talk later.
Talks with Sheba. Be empowered.